Hi guys, so in this video here I'm going to check out the durability of the Xiaomi Mi 6. So this is a donor, completely dead Mi 6 that I killed with water damage. This thing is definitely not water resistant. Do not wash it, do not shower with it, and try not to drop it in a pool or anything like that. So in this test I'm going to check out just how durable the screen is. We don't know whether this has Gorilla Glass or it has Dragon Tail. Xiaomi never really actually tell us, do they? They never say outright, yes, it has Gorilla Glass 4 spec or 5 spec or whatever. So I'm going to start off with simple basic items like things like coin, keys, see how the screen handles that, and the rear of it, of course, and then move on to more aggressive things like knives and this brush up here, which has metal bristles on it. So it should really scratch things up there. Now, I'm not trying to take away from other YouTubers that do this. Big shout out to Zach of Jerry Rig Everything. He is the king at doing this. But since my one died, I thought I might as well make use of a dead Mi 6 here. So first up is something very simple and common. You accidentally put your phone in your pocket with some coins in there. So it's going to get a little scratched up by that. Okay, nothing's really happened there from that simple thing. Now you can see this funny little mark here. That's actually like a bit of water that's in behind the screen, I think. So that's why that is there. Now a bit more aggressively. So the coin has done absolutely nothing to the screen so far. I'll test it on the fingerprint reader portion, the area there. No, nothing. Just a little bit of a scratch now, the paint coming off. So that's very minor. So I'll test some keys now. You accidentally put it in your pocket with your keys. Okay, still nothing there. Looks like that is fine. So it can handle basic items like that. Let's check out now something a little harder, and this is a small screwdriver. I don't have those special picks, and this I'm pressing down really hard now. In fact, it's making this squealing noise on the screen. Okay, that must have left a mark, surely. She can't see anything yet, so holding up really well. Now the same test on the rear of the phone. I think the rear has different glass to me, what feels different. And the keys. So far, nothing. So again, the rear there, look, you can see that's still perfect. Now we'll try a knife. Now this is very sharp, I'm going to put a lot of pressure on this. I can't believe that. That is not doing hardly anything. Surely that must have put a scratch on there. Yeah, it has. Okay, so that finally has marked it. You can see there, those scratches. It's hard to show you there in the light. You see about there. So pressing down very hard on that, I'm finally able to get some scratches, at least on the rear. Let's try the front of the screen now. And that also has scratched the screen. You can see now visibly some marking there. But I'm pressing down really as hard as I can. In fact, that hard, I think it has broken the tip of the knife just there. Test and see if the wire brush is going to do anything. I honestly don't think I can get enough pressure on that to leave a mark. So that has really done, by the looks of it, no, nothing. So that is just not going to do really scratches. No. So look on the side now. That has scratched it up a little bit. So the paint is probably the weakest part just along the sides. So you can clearly see those scratches there on the screen. visibly marked from me pressing down. So have a look at the earpiece now, whether that's made out of metal. Looks like it is. You can see I've managed to scar that and taken the paint off it, but that's metal. It's not made out of plastic there, the cover over the top. Now to check out the buttons. So the side of it looks like it's going to scratch quite easy, this paint job. Yeah, easy to scratch. Buttons, definitely made out of metal. And you can see they scratch up quite easy, so you probably want to keep that case on it which covers the buttons. And the antenna line there, that will be plastic. Now our fingerprint reader, unfortunately I can't test whether this is working or not if it gets scratched because my phone isn't working. But it seems to have the same level of hardness as the rest of the screen, so very tough. Whoops. And very easy to break. So the point of my knife, you can see, just went right through it there. That didn't actually take too much, so probably thinner the glass around the fingerprint reader. I doubt it would work now if my phone was working. Close up look, you can see that it just went right through there. So the glass in this area seems to be a lot thinner than the rest of the screen, probably so that fingerprint reader can work there, the ultrasonic sensor that it has. So that looks like the weakest point of the phone so far, and it has completely shattered the screen right up above halfway point there. You can see that goes right up to there, the crack, right through. Now looking at the two camera lenses, see how scratch resistant these are. Holding up well. Looks like it's a little bit of a mark on there. No, oh, slightly. Just scored it a little. And around the outside, this is one of my minor complaints here. There's this metal frame around here that has a bit of a sharp edge on it. But the lens seems to be reasonably scratch resistant there. Although I've completely marked this one now. You can see, yes, it is scratched up. And the same glass is of course used over the LED flash there. So you need a lot of pressure and something very sharp to scratch it. So let's see if I can bend it now with a bit of a bend test. Now it has been structurally weakened, of course, with that screen now being cracked. So I imagine it won't be as strong as your normal new phone. I've never done one of these tests here before, so I'm really a little bit worried about actually cutting my thumbs up or something. Here we go. Yeah, it's easy to bend a little. Oh, I'm putting a lot of force into that, but that is very strong. But of course the screen now completely cracked because I've pushed that in, and there are shards of glass everywhere. So I'm just going to try the other way now. See, it's bending a little, but holding up really well. I think the internal frame, they have reinforced around where the SIM card is and the volume buttons, so there's no real weakness to me. I think this is going to survive even Jerry Rig Everything's bend tests. This one I think will pass with hopefully flying colors, but I'm a little uncertain about that screen. It seems me putting pressure in the middle of it was what cracked it, but as mentioned, it was already cracked, so not completely fair bend test there. But the rear is holding up well. If you've seen my other video where I water damaged it and I just showed you the aftermath, you can have a look at the internals there in much greater detail because I use a macro lens. But pulling the rear cover off isn't at all hard. Just a suction cup on one of these corners and then quite a bit of pressure. You'll see it comes off, exposing our internals there. But this is what I was talking about. They have reinforced along here the metal frame. It's got an internal metal frame along it and along where the volume and the power buttons are. Very strong. I do think this is a strong phone. And you can see there's the camera modules there, so those are easily replaced. If you had a problem with one of them, you could just swap it out for a whole new sensor module. Loudspeakers here, haptic feedback motor. The Type-C port also can be replaced. And there is the battery cell, NFC. So there are some real dangerous pieces of glass fragments everywhere from that screen. I've got a couple of little minor cuts and things and a little bit stuck in my fingers, but I kind of expected that. Alright, so I think bend test wise, it held up really fine. It's going to survive everyone's bend test. It's very strong, the internal frame. I doubt anyone's going to be able to bend it in half unless they're He-Man, they're Superman or something like that. They're really strong. They can just, really brute force bend the thing. But I do doubt that. So I think the weaknesses around the screen, I think it's a little bit thinner around the fingerprint reader there. Of course, my test wasn't very fair dropping the point of a knife on it. The frame around the outside as well, that's going to be very easy to scratch those buttons, to scratch along here. Even just keys and things will leave scratches, so I would have a case on this at all times. And the screen, I think, too, probably would be quite easy to break if you dropped it and it hit the screen right. Unfortunately, I can't really do a drop test because my bend test killed the screen, while my first knife test against the fingerprint reader is what did it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and as mentioned, if you want to see the internals, check out my video showing the internals, and that was the aftermath of water damage on this phone here. Hope to catch you back in the channel soon. Bye for now.